Let's talk about how we can use Flow to project values into the future. I do want to apologize if my audio is a little bit hard to hear at times. I've got a really nice thunderstorm coming in through the area right now. If we look over at our Filler 1 production metric, we'll see that we have a bad tag, a good tag, and then a calculated tag that represents the total. So taking a look at our retrieval, we're simply adding the good and the bad values together, creating a new totalizer in Flow, and then slicing that into hourly, shift to date, day to date, and daily aggregated measures. I'm going to take the hourly measure. Let's look back at it over time. And we can see that every hour we have a different total of bottles that have passed through. And over the course of the previous 2 days, we've had a good bit of range in that. If I take that hourly measure and bring it over to the calculation icon inside the flow zone, I can create a range. I'm going to use this to essentially look backwards over 12 hourly periods and establish a run rate. By coming to my retrieval section, I can select inside of my calendar context the hourly measure. Using the Properties tab, switch the dependency from current period to either a previous period, or I could shift the value back a set number of hourly periods. So if I wanted yesterday, this same time period, same hour from yesterday, I would shift this back 24 hours. If I wanted the previous hour, I would shift it back 1 hour. Or I can also do the same thing with a range. And on the range, I'd like to establish the previous 12 values. So I'll enter 12 for my start. And then I can see upon tabbing out of that field that I now have a range from current value back 12 values. If I come back over to the expression, I will remove the previous expression and now drag this measure ranged over into the expression window. Now it's going to return 12 different values. There is an S now at the end of my measure. Instead of it saying .value, it's .values, and this allows me to tell it to run an average. I could also use min or max if I wanted to select the highest or the lowest value out of the range. We'll go ahead and backfill this. I'm going to do my backfills for this example just back to the previous week. And we're set. So I will get my average run rate for the past 12 hours calculated every hour using this new measure. Now from this, I can take this run rate and I can bring it over as well, and this can be my projection. Now with my projection, I'm going to project this 24 hours into the future. And it's built upon retrieving the value from that run rate range. Selecting the run rate gives me the ability then to take that property, take the previous period, and shift this as well, my 24 hours for my projection. Let's bring it in. Validate our calc, and deploy. All right, so while that is rolling, let's talk about what we have done. We have our run rate established for 12 hours. Let's take a look at it. So every hour, I look backwards and take all of the values from the previous 12 hours and do an average. So I've established my run rate. I then take that run rate and I project based on where I am now, adding what I have made to what I am likely to make based on my 12-hour run rate, we now have a projected value. My projected value is looking now. The white to blue line is the now. Every slice of data is based on 24 hours previous. Using the 12-hour run rate, that was the projected value. Now, all I have to do to be able to take this and look at it from a where will I be at the end of the day, or my 6 a.m., 6 to 6 is my production day, is to take this hourly and create a day-to-day by dragging it back onto itself. We'll go ahead and delete our shift to date as we don't really need that. We're just going to focus on our day-to-date. And now this day-to-date, we want to project that 24 hours forward. Deploy it. Give it a second for the Flow data engine to process that information. And there we go. So we can see based on where we are now, this is 6 a.m., end of my day, where we will end our day based on this projection, which is established off of our 12-hour run rate. And that means that starting over at 0 at 6 a.m., that 24 hours from now, we are projected to be at this level, 383,000 bottles. So the projection feature allows you to take an established rate, whether that be a flow rate or a product run rate or anything else that you'd like to measure, establish that rate of change and then push it into the future. And that is constantly updating based on whatever measure interval that you have chosen. So this becomes extremely valuable for being able to try to monitor your plan adherence. If you're called to make 100,000 units by the end of the week, and it's the second day of the week, and you're sitting at 12,000 units, you can look at end of week and compare where your projection is based on what you've done so far today, establishes your run rate on how likely are you to hit, to miss, or to exceed your your planned number. So you can actually do a percentage of plan adherence measure as well. And typically you would just connect to your ERP system to grab the plan down and do that math. Hope this was helpful. Please check out some of our other videos and learn some of the other ways that you can use Flow inside of your operation.